Hey, what's up, everyone? This is me, Dre. I wanted to talk about this video that I saw a friend had posted on Facebook. It's happened in South Carolina, Spring Valley High School. As the story goes, young lady, black, she was in class, fidgeting around with her phone. Teacher may have told her a couple times, put the shit away. She refused to do so. So he told her to report to the principal's office. When she refused to get up, they had a resource officer come in, resource officer white, comes into the classroom, and this is where the video picks up. So he's talking to her, letting her know that she can either get out of the chair on her own or he's going to make her. So when she refuses to get up, the officer basically grabs her by the upper body and another arm. He grabs her by the leg, flips her ass onto her back. Part of her body hits the desk against the student that's sitting behind her. And then he grabs her, kind of drags her along with the chair, gets her out of the chair, and then kind of flings her. And then he detains her. Now, this is in the wake a few weeks ago here in Texas, where a young man was in a verbal confrontation with a student, and cops had him hemmed up in the hallway. And you see the cop putting his hands on the kids. The kids didn't want to be touched. So the kid kind of brushed hands off, and suddenly the cop grabbed this kid by the neck. Now, this is something that's bullshit in the fact that we're seeing too many kids, black kids, being treated in the same manner that some of these unarmed black adults are, with the exception of they're not getting shot or tased, but they're being handled more firmly. Now, yes, when it comes to discipline, I'm all for that. But to take that kind of physical action against a child, you get a lot of people, unfortunately, non-blacks, that are saying should have complied. What happened to the video? Or what happened before the video started? Who gives a fuck about what happened before that? We're talking about a child. And if you're a parent, you should be appalled, because this is something that can happen to your kid. But for me, I'm not going to sit quiet simply because it's a black child and a white cop. I'm one that's going to make a video and stand strong. If this had been a black cop grabbing a white kid, I would have looked at the circumstance to see and try to be as impartial as I can. And what I see here, yes, the young girl, because she refused to go to the officer when told to do so by the teacher in the class, that's going to cause a disruption in the classroom. So that definitely does deserve disciplinary action. However, for a cop to put his hands on a child like that, slam her down to the ground while she's in her desk, she could have been injured with that. She could have been injured when part of her body hit the desk behind her. And then the fact that he tosses her once he's able to get her out of the chair, that's another problem. Again, this is someone's child. Hard-headed, yes. And I think the parents should kick her ass when she's at home for being so disobedient and for disrupting class. But for a cop to put his hands on a child like that, just like the cop who put his hands on this kid's neck, for people to say there's something okay with that, typically it is people that are non-black who have this nonchalant attitude. However, you don't see this happening to Becky Sue or little Johnny. And those little bastards, white kids, Asian kids, Hispanics, they can be just as hard-headed, disobedient, or rebellious to authority just like anybody else. But there's always some sort of exception, a double standard when it comes to black kids. As the video goes along, of course, I'm looking through some of the links. The majority of this story, as far as what I saw on some of the YouTube videos, is basically saying she deserves that, good job, officer, things like that. Again, disrupting the class, because my child could have been in that class. Her education could have been disrupted because the teacher had to take time out of his day to try to discipline this student. I can certainly understand that the child needed some sort of discipline, but throwing the child, absolutely not. I wouldn't advocate that to happen to a white kid, Asian, Hispanic, and again, kids of all walks of life are disruptive, but for a cop to put his hands on them, that's out of question. He could have really injured this child, but I'm going to keep on top of this story. But it's just one of these things where enough is enough. It's already bad enough that we're reading about Corey Jones, another black person killed by a cop, and it's still 2015 with November and December. So the time is ticking, and it seems like more and more black people got crosshairs on their heads. Now, yes, people are going to come to this video. They're going to say, oh, you're race baiting. No, it's not race baiting, because one, if I'm race baiting, I'm trying to put blacks against whites, and that's not the case. Again, it's obvious that when you look at certain circumstances, you're seeing mostly white cops perpetrating heinous shit against black people. Sam DuBose, executed by Officer Tensing. Walter Scott, shot by Officer Slager, Slager accused Walter Scott of trying to take his taser away. The video that you see shows otherwise. Officer Tensing tried to say that he was getting dragged. His body cam showed a totally different story. And all of a sudden, people are siding with the cop. But if this is a white person, you don't see that happening. I know there's a recent story that happened a couple of months ago where a white kid got pulled over. He's trying to pull the whole First Amendment, and he's within his rights to do so. Although if something like that happened to a black person, he's probably getting his windows busted and getting snatched out, scraped up against the glass. But this kid, the cop reaches into the car. The cop reaches into the car, pulls out the white kid, tases the kid, but he's too close, so it's not effective. And you see the kid get up and lunge at the cop. Scuffle ensues. Next thing you know, you hear gunfire, and the white kid is shot. So now the family is trying to sue the officer or the police department because of that. But you see in that video, he lunges at the cop. And of course, you see pictures of the cop where he's bloody. Now, it's easy to take sides. Who knows the full story? So I'm not going to sit there and condemn the kid because he's dead. But it's almost the same as Michael Brown. No one knows the situation. But a lot of the story with that just didn't match up when you hear from the time that Darren Wilson said that he had that confrontation to the time that he had his deposition to try to save his own ass. The story's changed. But anyway, if you like this video, hope that you like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook. Peace.